Today we are diving into one of the most important foundations in special education and intervention. It's called prompting. Now, if you work with children with special needs, you already know this, is that learning doesn't always happen just by telling a child what to do. Sometimes one prompt is enough, but sometimes it takes multiple prompts, and sometimes it takes a simultaneous multisensory approach. Prompting is not just about helping a child to complete a task. It's about guiding them towards independence. And that's our ultimate goal. Not compliance, not perfection, but independence and generalization. What is a prompt? And a prompt is actually any assistance we give a child to help them respond correctly. Prompts are like a bridge to get between what the child already know and what we're asking them to do. But let's remember that prompts are temporary supports. Think of prompts like training wheels on a bicycle. They're very helpful, they're necessary, but they are not permanent. If we never remove the training wheels, the child never truly learns how to ride a bicycle independently. Now, prompts are typically arranged from most intrusive to least intrusive. First and foremost, physical prompt. Now, physical prompt is the strongest prompt to guide a child. Physical prompting involves physically guiding the child's body to perform a task. So these may include a hand-over-hand guidance or a light touch on elbow or shoulder, gently guiding their hand to pick up a pencil or assisting them to sit down. Or sometimes that we can physically prompting them to go into a certain direction that we want them to walk. Now, there are types of physical prompt. We'll break this down into a full physical prompt or a half physical prompt. Now, full physical prompt means you completely guide the movement. For example, you take a child's hand and then you write their pencil. You hold the hand, write A, B, and then C. But a half physical prompt is where you lightly initiate the movement. You take the child, take hold already, then you slowly push a little bit. And this will help them to raise their hand to initiate the movement. But you just give some light touches. This is a half physical prompt. So when do we use physical prompts? We use physical prompts when the child does not yet understand the task, or when safety is involved, new skill is being introduced, or that the child is non-verbal, so you cannot communicate verbally. And last but not least, immediate compliance is necessary. There's one very important warning about using physical prompts. Physical prompts are very powerful, but they can easily create something we call prompt dependency if we don't fade it away. The child may wait for us to move their body instead of initiating themselves. So that's why fading in prompts is very critical, which we'll discuss it later on. Now, the second prompt we are going to discuss today is called a gesture prompts. And a gesture prompts involve a non-verbal body movements to cue the child. Example, I point towards a chair, or I tap towards the table, or I open my palm towards an object, shaking my head. These are all gesture prompts. And gesture prompts are less intrusive compared to physical prompt. They encourage more independence. So, example, instead of guiding a child, you hold the child to go and clean up the toy. Now I point to the bin. And then instead of physically helping them to choose a certain things, now I point to two options and then they are going to choose for themselves. So gesture prompts are great transitional prompts when we're trying to fade away physical assistance. The next thing we're going to talk about is visual prompts. And visual prompts are visual cues that we give to guide a certain behavior. These are extremely powerful for children with autism or language delays. Now, some example of visual prompts are this. Number one, you can show them a picture of a certain action, or you can show them a visual chart. The first thing you do this, then you do this, then you do this. Sometimes when they can read words, then you will have written instruction. And if they don't really match well with pictures or with words, then you can go with modeling. You show them by maybe cutting vegetables, and then they are seeing you how to cut vegetables. Or in the case where you're teaching them how to swim, you explain to them, you guide their legs, they cannot. But sometimes when you just swim one time for them to see, you perform a demo for them to see, then these are also visual prompts. One example of a visual prompt is a hand washing sequence. Let's say we are teaching them to hand wash. So we build a hand washing sequence. So picture number one, turn on the water. Picture number two, wet your hands. Picture number three, put soap. Picture number four, you rub your hands or you scrub your hands. Picture number five, you rinse. And then maybe picture number six, you dry your hands. So instead of repeating the instructions verbally, we'll point to the visual chart. And then the child will look at the visual chart and then follow the sequence itself. So these are the visual cues for the child to learn the entire process. So these will train the child to become more independent. Instead of waiting for us to instruct them physically or with gesture, now they are looking at a certain thing and then they learn by themselves. So we are trying to build them towards independence. If we have given them a lot of prompts through physical prompts or gesture prompt or even verbal prompt, and we want to fade away ourselves, right? We want to take ourselves away and then we want the child to learn independence. We can build a visual prompt and then the child will be there performing his own task while we slowly step away from standing next to them, then we step to maybe stand behind them, then slowly we increase the distance, and then slowly the child will be there alone doing the entire flow without us being present. So that is building towards independence. Last but not least, we're going to talk about verbal prompts. And verbal prompts are spoken cues. For example, sit down, look at me. What do you say? Pick up your pencil. Or try again. But verbal prompts also has its own range. There is a full verbal prompt, there is a partial verbal prompt, and there is also an indirect verbal prompt. A full verbal prompt would be pick up your pencil and write your name. Partial verbal prompt, pick up your... And then indirect verbal prompt would be like, okay, so what are you gonna do next? Now, the important warning about verbal prompts is that it's actually one of the hardest thing to fake. Why? Because adult tends to overtalk. If the child hears sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, they may learn to wait for repetition. This then builds verbal prompt dependency. So we want to be also very careful on how we are using verbal prompt. And we want to slowly fade away verbal prompt, just like how we are trying to fade away physical prompt. Ideally, actually all the prompts we want to fade away so that a child can learn to be independent. Apart from all of these prompts, there's something called the multi-sensory approach, which means to say sometimes one prompt is not enough. Children with special needs often benefit from a simultaneous multi-sensory approach. This means you combine the visual, the verbal, the physical, and the gesture prompts. Example, when you're teaching them to brush your teeth, you show them a visual schedule, step 1 all the way to step number last. Then you verbally tell them, hey, brush your teeth. Then you point to a toothbrush, go and brush your teeth. And then you lightly guide their hand to take the toothbrush, and then you go through the entire process if they need it. And this helps the brain to process the information better. The next part, which is prompt dependency. A prompt dependency happens when a child waits for help before attempting, or that they are refusing to respond without a prompt, or that they are looking at the adult after every instruction. They just don't want to initiate themselves. They don't want to initiate independently. So this is a serious issue. Our job is not to help them forever, but our job is to help them need us less. So we want to help them to build independence. So we have to fade the prompts. And fading means gradually reducing the assistance. Now in fading prompts, there are 3 methods that are very helpful. Number 1 is that you give them the most prompt to the least prompt. Start with the strongest support, then you gradually reduce. So for example, day number 1, you give them a full physical prompt. But then at day number 3, it becomes a partial physical prompt. And then day number 10, maybe only visual chart, but then they gotta perform it independent. So that's from most to least. The second way to fade away prompt is from least to most. And what it means is that we want to wait before helping a child. We give the child the time to respond. So for example, we say, pick up your shoes, then wait for 5 seconds. And if there is no response, then we give a gesture, pick up your shoes. And then still no response, then now we give a partial physical prompt, pick up your shoes. Then we bring the hand slowly to go and get the shoes. So this is to allow the child to process the information from the least amount of prompting to the most amount of prompting. We are training them to try to catch what we are trying to instruct them to do. Now, when the child progresses at a very good stage, and then we want to finally come to the third way of fading, it's called time delay, and this is very powerful. You give instruction and then you pause and you wait. Just count silently. Just like the least to most, but now instead of stepping in, we allow processing time. We allow the child to perform themselves. So this will then tell us that the child is ready to take that particular action independently. So from the least to most strategy is when you are telling them and then you're giving them the following prompt. But then the last one is that you're just telling them. then you pause. Just give them time. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Sometimes a child needs time to process. Sometimes a child is waiting for you to give the answer because they are so dependent on you. But when you give them a delay, then they already know it. They will slowly pick things up and they will slowly learn to become more independent. Because no matter how long they wait, you're not going to give them. So you just start an instruction and delay the time and allow them to perform the particular action. With that being said, we want to answer the question, when is the right time to fade away the prompts? We want to fade in these 4 instances. Number 1, when the child is responding correctly at least 80% of the time, or that the skill is becoming consistent. Number 3, the child initiates sometimes, means before we even start, they do it already. Or number 4, we notice that they are anticipating for the prompt, means before they do a certain action, they'll look at you to ask for, seek for assurance. These are the correct times to start to fade away the prompt. Do not fade away the prompt when we are just teaching the child a new skill, or that when we find that the child is showing confusion, or most importantly, when safety is being involved. We want to be extra careful of when we should fade away the prompt. Ultimately, not only we want to build independence and skills, but we also want to build towards generalization. And generalization means that the child can perform the skill at home, at school, with different adults in different environments, and all without prompts. So for example, if the child can clean up toys only with one therapist in the room, that is not mastery. Now, true learning means that they can clean up at school, at home, at grandma's house, or at the park, all without reminders. I would like to end with this note. Prompting is not about control, it's about giving them the support. Physical prompts are powerful and visual prompts are very empowering. Gesture prompts are subtle guidance, and verbal prompts must be very intentional. Fading is all about love, because fading says, I believe you can do this on your own. Our goal is independence, and our goal is to help them to build confidence. We don't want the children to rely on us forever. We want them to grow beyond us. And every faded prompt is a step toward freedom. So if these help you, please share it with another educator or parent. Remember, support strongly, fade gently, and celebrate independence.